Let's explore. You'll be surprised by the last one. Number 10. The roar of space. In the vast freezing emptiness of the universe, silence is the baseline expectation. If you point a radio telescope at the gaps between stars, at the deep voids where galaxies thin out and disappear, the assumption has always been that you would hear nothing beyond the faint, static whisper of the cosmic microwave background, the afterglow of the Big Bang, the universe's birth cry fading across 13.8 billion years into something barely above the threshold of detection. In 2006, NASA decided to listen more carefully than anyone had ever listened before. They launched a balloon-borne instrument, called Arcade 2, carrying it to the upper edge of Earth's atmosphere, into the stratospheric dark, where the planet's own radio noise fades away and the instrument could listen to the universe with nothing in between. The scientists expected a signal so faint it would require the most sensitive equipment ever built just to confirm its existence. They were not prepared for what they received. The data that came back was not a faint whisper. It was a roar, a radio signal 6 times louder than the theoretical maximum predicted by every existing model of the cosmos. Not 6% louder, not twice as loud. 6 times the theoretical ceiling, filling the entire sky simultaneously, arriving from every direction at once with equal intensity. Isotropic, sourceless, unexplained. The scientists subtracted every known radio source from the data, every galaxy, every pulsar, every active galactic nucleus, every gas cloud. After all of it was removed, the roar remained. To understand the scale of this, imagine you're sitting in a library trying to hear a pin drop on the other side of the room. That is the signal the scientists were trying to find. What they found instead was a jet engine igniting directly next to their ear. We are swimming in a universe that is screaming at us. We have been deaf to it for the entire history of science, and we still do not know what it is saying. Number 9. The Little Green Men Signal. In 1967, a doctoral student named Jocelyn Bell Burnell was monitoring a radio telescope array at Cambridge when she noticed something anomalous in the data. A tiny rhythmic blip, a repeating pulse. The signal was pulsing with a precision that should not exist in nature, once every 1.33730 seconds, without variation, without drift, without any of the irregularity that characterizes every naturally occurring cosmic phenomenon. It kept time better than the most precise atomic clocks on Earth. The team sat with this data for months. They genuinely believed they might have detected an extraterrestrial civilization. They logged the signal internally as LGM1, Little Green Men 1, a beacon flashing in the dark, guiding ships or marking territory. The scientific world held its breath, ready to announce that we were not alone. Then came the explanation. It was not a machine. It was a corpse, a pulsar. The crushed core of a dead sun, spinning so fast that its radiation beams sweep past Earth with clockwork regularity, mimicking intelligence with a fidelity that fooled the best astronomers in the world for months. The real horror of LGM1 is not that we were wrong. It is what being wrong reveals. The universe does not need consciousness to create order. It does not need intention to produce what looks indistinguishable from intention. A dead star can keep better time than any clock humanity has ever built. The line between a natural phenomenon and an artificial signal, the line we are counting on to distinguish noise from contact, is thinner than we ever acknowledged. We looked for a mind in the dark. We found a spinning tombstone, and the tombstone kept better time than we do. Number 8. The Galactic Center Burper. At the center of the Milky Way in 2002, astronomers detected a source designated GCRT J1745-3009. It sat in silence for months. Then, without warning, it activated. It began emitting intense radio bursts on a schedule. Every 77 minutes it transmitted. Each transmission lasted exactly 10 minutes. After 10 minutes, it went silent for 67 minutes. Then it transmitted again. Wake, scream, sleep, repeat. With a regularity so precise that astronomers could set a clock by it. After a period of activity, the object went silent and has remained largely undetected since. Astronomers attempted classification. Not a pulsar, not a flaring star, not a brown dwarf, not any known category of astrophysical object. GCRT J1745 GCRT-J1745-3009 fits nothing. What it does fit is the behavioral description of a transmission system, something that activates on a schedule, broadcasts for a defined period, goes dormant, and then broadcasts again. It possesses energy output orders of magnitude beyond anything we could generate. It operates on a schedule we did not set. And it is sitting at the center of our galaxy, waiting. And we do not know when it will transmit again or what the next transmission will contain. Number 7. The hydrogen signal. In 2003, the CD at Home Distributed Computing Project flagged a signal designated SHG-B02+14A, narrowband, sitting precisely on 1.42 GHz, the hydrogen line. Observed 3 separate times by the Arecibo Observatory. 3 criteria for a candidate extraterrestrial signal met simultaneously. Then came the detail that transforms this from anomaly into something genuinely disturbing. When astronomers examined the coordinates, they found nothing. No star, no gas cloud, no known object within 1,000 light years. The signal was coming from empty space. Furthermore, the signal's frequency drifted in a pattern consistent with a transmitter on a rotating, orbiting body, but at a rotation speed approximately 40 times faster than Earth. A rocky planet rotating that fast would tear itself apart. 2 possibilities remain. 1. A random noise fluctuation defying odds of billions to 1, 3 times in succession. 2. The signal is artificial and it is not coming from a planet. It is coming from something mobile, something drifting through the void between stellar systems. Broadcasting on the frequency the entire scientific community agreed would be used for interstellar communication. We have not answered. We are not sure we want to. Number 6. The ghost signal. In late 2020, using the Australian Square Kilometre Array Pathfinder, astronomers detected ASCAP J174608.2-3 21635, colloquially known as the ghost. It would activate without warning, becoming one of the most intense radio sources in that region of sky, and then fade to complete invisibility within a single day. Nearly 100% polarized, twisting wildly during transit in ways that indicate either catastrophically turbulent surroundings or deliberate signal manipulation. The team turned every instrument at the source coordinates, X-ray telescopes, infrared observatories, nothing. No star, no neutron star, no object of any detectable type. An invisible object generating emissions intense enough to be seen across thousands of light years, with no visible counterpart in any wavelength we can observe. The galaxy is populated by a class of objects that are completely invisible to us until they choose to activate. And if the galaxy contains objects like this that we only discovered because one happened to turn on while our instruments were pointing in the right direction, the question that follows is immediate and uncomfortable. How many of them are there that have not turned on yet? How many invisible things are drifting near our solar system right now, silent, undetectable, and waiting? Number 5. The repeater, FRB121102, discovered in 2012, shattered the theoretical framework for fast radio bursts. You cannot destroy the same star twice. Whatever was generating FRB121102 was not dying. It was operating. Analysis revealed a cycle, active for approximately 90 days, firing in irregular bursts like an engine misfiring under load, then silent for 67 days, then active again. A period, a schedule. A cycle implying either an orbital relationship, a rotation, or a programmed sequence, all pointing to a mechanism rather than a catastrophe. Something in that dwarf galaxy 3 billion light-years away is loading and unloading a weapon of incomprehensible power on a 90-day cycle. It has been doing this for longer than human civilization has existed. The barrel is pointed at us. It is currently in its silent phase, and somewhere in the timing of its cycle it is calculating when to fire again. Number 4. The call from Proxima Centauri. In 2019, the Breakthrough Listen project detected a signal from the nearest star to our Sun, Proxima Centauri, 4.2 light-years away. The signal, designated BLC1, was a narrow-band transmission at 982.002 MHz, a precision that nature does not produce. As the telescope observed, BLC1's frequency drifted upward, precisely matching the Doppler effect of a transmitter on the surface of a rotating, orbiting planet. For months, The astronomical community existed in a state of controlled panic. The nearest star, a known habitable zone planet, a signal with all the characteristics of an artificial transmission. The first time we looked carefully at our closest neighbor, something appeared to be looking back. The official conclusion was radio frequency interference. Most researchers accepted it because the alternative was too large to process casually. But a version of this that some researchers have not stopped thinking about. A civilization that wanted to communicate would not use a frequency we were likely to dismiss. They would mimic our own interference signatures, frequencies we routinely generate and routinely discard as noise. BLC1 was a perfect false positive. It looked exactly like terrestrial interference, which is precisely how a signal designed to hide in our noise floor would appear. The phone rang. We answered it. We heard something on the other end. And we convinced ourselves it was a wrong number and hung up. What if it was not? Number 3. The cold spot anomaly. The cosmic microwave background is the oldest signal we can detect. The thermal afterglow of the Big Bang imprinted across the entire sky. In one specific region of the southern sky, it is wrong. The CMB cold spot is a region approximately 1 billion light-years across that is significantly colder than everything surrounding it, with odds of arising by chance of less than 1%. Scientists proposed the supervoid explanation. Surveys failed to find a void large enough or empty enough. The void is real. The void is not sufficient. The remaining deficit has no conventional explanation. The leading unconventional explanation is that the cold spot is a bruise. Our universe is one bubble in an infinite sea, a multiverse where bubble universes nucleate, expand, and occasionally collide. The cold spot is the scar left by an impact, a collision between our universe and another bubble universe early in our history, imprinting a permanent thermal anomaly on space-time. This is not a radio signal. This is impact damage. It means our universe is not a closed system. It is a bubble in a medium where other bubbles exist, and at least one of them has already hit us. If it happened once, it can happen again. And the next collision might not leave a cold spot. It might pop the bubble entirely. Number 2. The heartbeat signal. In December 2019, the Keim telescope in Canada detected FRB 201-91221A, a fast radio burst lasting 3 seconds, 1,000 times longer than average. But it was not the duration that froze the analysts. It was the structure. Inside those 3 seconds, the signal pulsed with metronomic regularity. Every 0.2 seconds, a discrete peak of radio energy. Boom, 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 boom. 15 peaks across 3 seconds, each separated by the same interval, locked in a rhythm that did not drift, did not accelerate, did not behave like any natural astrophysical process known to produce fast radio bursts. It looked like a heartbeat on a cardiac monitor. The source is billions of light-years away. The energy required to produce a heartbeat this strong, detectable across that distance, is incomprehensible. We have spent our entire history looking at the stars and seeing cold, dead physics. And then this signal arrives. Regular, rhythmic, repeating in a pattern that the human nervous system is specifically calibrated to recognize as biological. And it forces a question that science does not yet have the vocabulary to answer cleanly. Is that a signal, or is it the sound of something waking up? Number 1. The wow signal. On August 15, 1977, astronomer Jerry Eman was reviewing printout data from the Big Ear radio telescope in Ohio when he saw a sequence of characters that did not belong there. 6EQUJ5. In Big Ear's notation, this represented a signal rising from the noise floor to a peak 30 times stronger than background and dropping back down, a bell curve of extraordinary intensity lasting exactly 72 seconds. Jerry Eman circled it in red pen and wrote one word in the margin. Wow. The signal was centered precisely on 1,420 megahertz, the hydrogen line. Narrow band. 30 times background noise. And the duration of 72 seconds was not arbitrary. Big Ear used Earth's rotation to scan the sky. Any fixed point in space would be in the telescope's field of view for exactly 72 seconds. The wow signal lasted exactly 72 seconds. It started faint, peaked at maximum strength at the midpoint, and faded as the Earth turned. A fixed point in deep space, in the constellation Sagittarius. We turned every available telescope at that location. We have been listening for 47 years. The signal has never repeated. Not once. This is the single ping theory. If a civilization wanted to say hello, they would keep broadcasting. You don't call someone, scream your name once, and then smash the phone, unless you were not talking to us. The wow signal looked like a beam sweeping past us, like a lighthouse beam that caught Earth for a brief moment before moving on. We were not the intended recipients, we just happened to be in the way of a transmission between two other points, which means the transmission is still happening, right now, between 2 points that are not us. Or consider the other possibility. Something in Sagittarius was scanning for life. It sent out a ping on the universal frequency. It received our noisy, chaotic radio leakage. It detected us. It assessed us. And then it went silent. It decided we were not worth contacting. Or it decided something more specific and more alarming. That we were the kind of thing it was better not to acknowledge. The wow signal is the greatest horror story in the history of science because it has no ending. It was a knock on the door at 3 a.m. By the time we opened it, the porch was empty, and we have been standing in the doorway ever since, staring into the dark, frightened and alone, not sure whether we are hoping to hear the knock again or hoping with everything we have that we never do. Thank you for watching this far. If you'd like to see more content like this, don't forget to subscribe, turn on notifications, and give it a like. Please share your thoughts in the comments.